of questions. And as I said, even though I know Dan Austin, respect him very much and know that he tries very hard, this is a very complicated issue. And there was something that was in here not having to do with the money that's undisputed. They owe us money and we're going to collect it, and that's wonderful. I think the town could use the $82,000, obviously, and all the other fees that are being collected. I also really do appreciate, and I said that to Bob earlier today, the investigation that is going into this, because I don't think it's only about money. I think it's about the law. And I think any time that the law is disregarded or things are done in defiance of what the laws are, it really diminishes all our freedom. This is a democracy, and we want to keep it that way. And the only way we can keep it that way is if we citizens continue to keep our eye on who is running the store, because that's our responsibility in a democracy. But I have a question here that doesn't make much sense to me. It says that he, being referring to Mr. Kamiyama, hopes to get the necessary permits for the town and state fairly quickly thereafter. So there is some question as to whether or not a significantly revised plan might restart much of the permitting and review process. And then it says that decision will be up to the planning board. I don't think that decision is up to the planning board. I think the permitting and review process is really dependent upon our law, not upon the planning board's decision, unless that decision is compliant with law. And we've already seen that some decisions being made in town were not in compliance with law. Some decisions may be questioned, and there may be case law on this side and that side in terms of who, for example, appoints chairs of the boards. And although I do believe that the elected officials of a town should take responsibility for making such an appointment, particularly since I think that was the intention of the law. And I do understand that there can be circumstances where it could be ruled otherwise, that the planning or zoning board would choose their own chairs, and I know that some people feel the boards would work better if they chose their own chair. Ultimately, our elected officials are responsible for the people they appoint, so that's that decision. That decision is really up to this board, and I understand from one of the members that I will be getting something that shows they have the right, even though Section 267 referring to the zoning board and 271 referring to the planning board say the town board shall designate the chair. Okay, so my question is, how will it be the liaisons this time? Because in the past, liaisons really have not, to a lot of residents' standards, watched the boards closely enough, especially in situations that were extremely controversial, as we know the mushroom factory is. And I want to make one other thing clear to the board, to everybody in this room. I don't think I have ever spoken out against the mushroom factory. I have always advocated for the review to be in compliance with town and state law. I don't think I've ever said a word about why this is not a good project or not a good project. I have questioned many things about the project, and I will continue to question it. But I really hope that I won't see written in the newspaper statements like that decision will be up to the planning board without some correction from the town, because it's not up to the planning board. It's up to the planning board's following our law. And on that, I just want to say one thing, because I have read the press releases that Ukaguni has put out, and I know that they are calling this a site adjustment. I have looked through our code. There is no such thing as a site adjustment in our code. It is a site amendment, and 19945J clearly says that site amendment must follow the same procedure as a site plan. So, as I have written to some of our representatives here, it's sort of like the game we all played in childhood, Chutes and Ladders. Sometimes you have to go backwards, and it's a bummer, but it's the rule of the game. And here in town, the rule in our code book says, you start a site amendment, step one. It is maybe going backward, and that's a bummer for you to do, but they're going to have to follow our laws. And the other thing too is, I know this is gonna come up, so I'm gonna say it now. The money that they owed us was for site plan review for the original site plan, which was needed prior to approval. The planning board could, at their discretion, just revoke the whole approval because payment wasn't made. That's in our code as well. But in any event, the site plan amendment, I think, is subject to a whole new set of fees. And this time, let's not have agreements made that don't comply with our law. Thank you.